Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my review of TNA Slammiversary 2025. They started off the show with Mustafa Ali and Order 4 defeating Cedric Alexander in what was a great way to start the show. I thought this match was very good. I feel like, this was a very TNA match in the way of there was total non-stop action. The story of the match was very well done as well, with the inclusion of Tasha Steelz being so prevalent within the build-up of this match and within the match itself. And respect to her, she took a awful, I think on what the day with the movies now. I had it and then I didn't. But Cedric Alexander's finisher, the lumbar check. She took a wicked lumbar check, which was very well done. But yeah, everything about this match worked very, very well. The involvement of Steelz made absolutely perfect sense, as she was one of the vocal points of the build-up. The chemistry with these two really hasn't faded at all since the 205 Live days and WrestleMania 34, which is what they were so heavily referencing. And obviously, that was an absolutely fantastic match on the pre-show back in 2018. And yeah, I feel like this feud isn't quite over yet, just because of the screwy finish and the way that kind of it all worked out. I feel like they're probably going to continue this on for the next, I assume, TNA Plus event that they're going to do, though I can't think of what it might be, or what it'll be called, sorry. But yes, I feel like this will be a great X Division match. Imagining like Leon Slater versus Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander would be an absolutely banger triple threat match. I feel like it's something they could definitely do in the future. But yeah, as I said, as a opener, this was very good and really showed off some great wrestling to get the show started. And yes, I had nothing but positive for this match. As far as Mustafa Ali winning, that makes the most sense in my opinion, and the way he won was well within his character. So yeah, I look forward to seeing this feud continue, and then hopefully both men can be kind of brought into the X Division title feud or X Division title scene, and I feel like both of them would make great X Division champions. Or Mustafa Ali has already been X Division champion, so it'd be him again, I guess. Following that, we had the System, so Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards and JDC teaming up with Matt Cardona to defeat Dark State. And yeah, this was fine. It was more towards your average 8-man tag team match. It started off with normal tagging matches, and then it kind of got to a point where everything broke down. The referee kind of lost control, and then it all came together at the end. It was weird seeing the System as baby faces. They've been heels for the longest of time, and Moose, the leader of the System, was the heel in his match. So yeah, it was kind of weird having this different change of dynamic for the System, but it worked very well, though. Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers and JDC right now are more unlikable than likable. But no, I'd say this was fine. I can't imagine there'll be a rematch or anything. I feel like this is just a one and done for Slammiversary. But no, Dark State had a very good showing in defeat. They've been continuing to looking strong on NXT and on TNA. I think maybe they'll have one more match, but I can't imagine why, unless they just want something to put on Impact. But yeah, not much else to say about this one. It was a fine match. Probably the weaker match on the card overall, but not in a bad way. It was just a fine match. Just it wasn't anything special, in my opinion. So yeah, I expect the System will finally recover from the quite terrible Slammiversary that they had overall, with Moose losing the X Division Championship. But yeah, it made Dark State look good. The System got on the show. There was a means to an end, and yeah, it fit very well. After that, we had Indy Hartwell defeat Tessa Blanchard with Victoria Crawford in her corner, and this was solid. I was very much looking forward to this one. I was looking for a decent Tessa Blanchard match, but also seeing properly how good Indy Hartwell was as a singles competitor, and now she's recently left WWE. And yeah, for me it delivered. It wasn't the best match on the show, but both women looked great in this one, and the kind of chemistry between these two worked very, very well. For the most part, Blanchard pretty much dominated the match. I was very surprised how one-sided it was at one point. I was fully expecting it to be a more even contest. But yeah, what makes the most sense here is the fact that the winner of this, Indy Hartwell being the winner, faces JCJ next. And again, that makes the most sense. Babyface and heel dynamic and all that kind of stuff. Personally, I feel like Tessa will also be a very good champion, but I feel like she might be the one that takes it from Indy, and then maybe they trade it for a bit. I feel like that'd be quite a cool storyline to go down. But also, Indy Hartwell versus JC Jane, I feel like would be a pretty decent match overall. And, you know, Indy Hartwell has that connection with NXT because it's where she was the majority of her time in WWE. So they could have her return, like maybe for a one-off appearance on NXT, just a feud to JC for the Knockouts Championship. So, yeah, I feel like everything kind of worked out here. The match was pretty good. Indy Hartwell looked very good as far as like heart and resiliency of a babyface goes against the more dominant heel. And yeah, I said this was absolutely fine match. Not the best on the show, but definitely not the worst either. Next up, we had JC Jane defeat Masha Slamovich to become the new Knockouts champion and retains the NXT Women's Championship. And wow, this I did not expect. I was fully behind Masha Slamovich, especially when they mentioned during the video package that it was her home city. It just made the most sense to give Masha the win here. And yeah, they didn't. It was like, especially after JC Jane used the belts to kind of cheat, I thought that Masha was going to get the W because she kicked out of that, and it all looked very shocking. And yeah, it all kind of made the most sense that the heel had done everything they could have done to win the match, and the babyface kicked out. But no, it continued on, and JC Jane continues to shock the wrestling universe as far as how far she's willing to go as a champion. And yeah, I feel like she's actually really good. Like, it's kind of working in the way of it's making me like JC Jane more. And like, the only thing I really like about Fatal Influence is their theme song. I think their theme is an absolute banger. But the more I see them work, and the more that like they have absolutely fluid interferences where everything works out the way it should do for them, from JC Jane just shocking everyone every week about winning championship gold. Like, the thing is, even if she loses the NXT Women's Championship soon, she'll still be the Knockouts champion, or vice versa. So everything here works out very well for JC Jane. And yeah, I like this storyline of kind of someone we were never expecting to be a champion this year at all is now a double champion and shocking everybody on almost a weekly basis. But no, I assume there'll be some kind of rematch between JC and Sasha and Masha, because this match was very, very good. I feel like these two worked very well together, to say that it's probably, I assume, a first time match between these two. And yeah, I said everything worked out very, very well. And yeah, I don't know what else to say other than it was just a really good match. Was it one of the matches of the night? I think so. I'd probably put it as maybe second or third for match of the night. But yeah, say really hoping we get a rematch between these two. And yeah, very, very shocked about the outcome for this one. After that, we had Leon Slater defeat Moose to become the new TNA X Division champion. In what was, for me, match of the night, I thought this worked very, very well. But yeah, this was great. The synergy between these two was absolutely well done. Everything about this one seemed to be done very seamlessly. And yeah, the dynamic of the high flyer versus the powerhouse was done very well. Like, the final sequence of this one, like the last 10 minutes, was absolutely brilliant. You couldn't quite tell who was going to get the win. You thought that maybe Leon Slater was going to do it, and then Moose kicks out. Moose does all his big moves. You think, oh, well, you know, better luck next time to Leon Slater. And then he kicks out as well, to the shock of everybody. And then Leon Slater eventually overcomes Moose and becomes the youngest ever X Division champion in history. And yeah, this was a huge win and a massive moment for Leon Slater. And yeah, congratulations to him. He's absolutely earned it. I feel like his build up in TNA from first signing to now has been done brilliantly. And they haven't just made him win everything either. He's like done a bit of everything when it comes to tag team or singles and X Division, all that kind of stuff. It worked very, very well. But then, speaking of a massive moment, the phenomenal AJ Styles, Mr. TNA himself, came out and presented. Like, I don't say he didn't quite present Leon Slater with the belt, because Moose kind of had a show of respect with him and put the belt around his waist. But AJ Styles came out, congratulated him, talked about a little bit about his time in TNA, but like massively put Leon Slater over as like a future of TNA, which I'm not gonna lie, it wouldn't surprise me if he is. And yeah, I also heard that Leon Slater can do heel very well, which I'm very surprised about, from people who watch North Wrestling on Cultaholic Wrestling podcasts and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what Leon Slater does as far as like going forward in his future in TNA. But yeah, to have that moment with AJ Styles, I think was absolutely huge for him, and he's going to do him the world of good. And it was great to see AJ Styles and his old theme and his, like, not the old presentation, but yeah, everything about this felt really good. And even Styles kind of hinted at one last match in TNA, which I feel like would be absolutely awesome. Who his opponent would be, man, I have no idea. Because they could have it be Leon Slater and really put him over, but it could be pretty much most people on the roster, and I feel like it will work very well. So yeah, very close about the way that goes. Especially like with Bound for Glory only a few months away, it would make sense to have Styles have a match there. But again, I'm not going to try and speculate who his opponent might be, because it could literally be anybody. Next up, we had the ladder match for the World Tag Team Championships, where the Hardys defeated First Class, the Rascals, or a version of the Rascals, and the Nemeth Brothers to become the new World Tag Team Champions. And this was kind of a match of two halves, in my opinion. We had like a very fast-paced start with the Rascals and Casey Navarro, and even AJ Francis was getting involved in more high-paced stuff. But then in the second half, it kind of took a slower pace as the Hardys and Nemeth took over the majority of the match, and they were doing a lot of setting up for other stuff. Which again I kind of expected, and also like especially the Hardys, they're quite old at this point, so I kind of understand the fact that the match kind of slowed down a little bit. AJ Francis doing a moonsault off the ladder was crazy, but to then almost immediately do the big spot with Casey and AJ Francis on top of the ladder going through the penthouse table and the ladders that were set up next to them, and yeah, Francis's landing looked really, really bad. His legs kind of just went between rungs, and then like the ladder folded up, and it just, yeah, it didn't look very good at all. I really hope that he is genuinely okay. I know that he's like one of the more unlikable people on TNA, but you know, respect. He earned a lot of people's respect, I think, in this match, because he was putting himself on the line all over the place. Also, Jeff Hardy doing 2 swantons onto the Rascals who were on ladders. I kind of feel like I get it within the pace of the match, and it kind of from that point it started being taken over by the Hardys and the Nemeths. It kind of felt unnecessary that he had to do it twice, but then it's also very Jeff Hardy the fact he had to do it twice. So I get it to a point, but also like Jeff, try and protect yourself a little bit. But yeah, very smart though from Jeff Hardy. He brought out, like, pretty much Matt went to go get a ladder, even though there was plenty of ladders at ringside. And then Jeff was like, no, you don't need to. And he like clicked this button, and like a helicopter ladder, I don't know if that's what is the official name, but ladders you normally get from like Mountain Rescue, or I say from a helicopter, like ambulance kind of thing, came down. You know, like the really ruggedy ladders that like are just plastic and rope. That came down from the ceiling, which the whole point was like the Hardys are reinventing the ladder match, which I guess they kind of did, to be fair. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the Hardys winning is kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like the decision to have them over maybe a team like First Class or the Rascals, I was very surprised about. As soon as Trey Miguel was announced, as soon as it was announced that Trey Miguel was injured and they'd had the guy that I can't remember the name of coming for the Rascals, I knew they weren't going to win. They weren't going to give the titles to them. But I feel like First Class would have been a great choice to have as World Tag Team Champions. But it makes sense as well. The Hardys tease the retirement, and then obviously after that, you kind of get a feeling that they're going to get the win here, and that's exactly what happened. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of felt like going with something else would have been a bit different. Would have been different for the tag division. It's been dominated by the Hardys and the Nemeths for months now. But I said it was fine for the most part. But then, well, actually, no, we'll get to that in a minute. But overall, the match was very fun. Like, ladder matches are very fun, especially when they have the Hardys in them. And yeah, I say this worked out very well. It was, again, one of the more enjoyable matches. Was it one of the best matches? Not really. I feel like the slower pace nearer the end kind of put it down, in my opinion. But other than that, it was very fun. And then after the match, Bully Ray came out to the Team 3D theme. And yeah, I was kind of like, there's no way that they're going to actually do a match here. But no, like, Bully Ray came out and challenged the Hardys to a tag team match at Bound for Glory this year. Not like in the past. No, we're going to get the Hardys versus the Dudleys in 2025, which I am shocked about. Like, you say, this event was like full of surprises throughout, and we'll get to the biggest one probably in a minute. But yeah, very, very shocked and surprised to see that we're going to be getting a Dudley's Hardys match in October. And finally, in the main event, Trick Williams defeated Joe Hendry and Mike Santana in a triple threat match to retain the TNA World Championship. And I put him notes, well then, what now? Firstly, if you think that WWE hasn't bought TNA, I feel like this proves it enough. The fact that TNA's two biggest titles right now, the Knockouts Championship and the World Championship, now are belonging to Trick Williams and JC Jane of NXT/WWE. I'm fully convinced at this point that WWE have low-key bought TNA and just not told anybody. But anyway, yeah, the match was good. Probably, again, second or third best match of the night. The action flows really well. The story of Santana and Joe Hendry going after Trick and then turning on each other not long afterwards to kind of go after the title worked very well. It's as I expected it to go. Trick then, I've completely lost my notes. Yes, the false injury by Trick Williams was done very, very well. I was at work when I was watching it, which I know is not great. But I remember seeing Trick, seem to get injured, and I typed in my wrestling group chat, oh, this was a perfect way to protect Trick of a loss. And then somebody started talking to me, so I kind of lost distraction. I got distracted by it. No worry, I went back and watched the rest of it, again. And then before I knew it, Trick had stolen the win. And I was like, oh, well, delete this message, I've not sent it. But no, yeah, the false finish got me hook, line, and sinker. I was fully expecting Trick to not come back into this one. I thought, cool, he's injured. He won't come back in. Hendry and Santana will fight for the championship and TNA will be saved. No, pretty much Santana, I can't remember right now. Someone hit their finisher. I think Joe Hendry hit the standing ovation on Santana. Trick comes in, throws Hendry out the ring, gets the pin on Santana, and steals the championship. Not for the first time, obviously, but he's absolutely stolen this win, as it didn't seem like he was going to be even involved in the match anymore, let alone get the win. And yeah, he literally clutched victory from the jaws of defeat. And yeah, it was very well done. I would love to see coming out of this I don't want to copy a storyline completely, but we know now, because I saw it in a backstage interview after the show, that Santino Marella is going to be on NXT this week. I would love it if Santino Marella came out doing his old comedy stuff and he's like NXT or pronouncing it wrong, and then he goes completely blank face, completely serious, and goes under siege. And then all the TNA guys come out and start attacking the NXT guys, very similar to the Raw and SmackDown storyline from 2017 for Survivor Series, where SmackDown had Raw under siege. But I feel like that would be such a cool storyline. I know a lot of people have been asking for that as well. I'm fully one of them. I love those kind of storylines. But yeah, I feel like that would be a great thing to do because they've got a special NXT weekly show this week where they're in Houston instead of the PC. So yeah, I feel like, again, this was probably one of the bigger shots of the show, behind obviously JC Jane winning the Knockouts Championship. And yeah, we're going to continue to call TNA Trick-NA for now. So those are my thoughts and opinions on TNA Slammiversary 2025. Do put down below in the comments your opinions of the show, why you liked it, why you maybe disliked it, or anything between. I thought it was a pretty decent show today. It's not the best TNA pay-per-view I've seen, but it was full of a lot of shocks, which I feel like is a massive positive. None of the matches were really a terrible match, in my opinion. All of them kind of were either a decent match or a very good match. The highlights, in my opinion, being JC and Masha and Leon Slater versus Moose. I thought they were the two best matches on the show. And yeah, do put down in the comments your thoughts on this show. And yeah, do stick around, do subscribe and all that good stuff. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs or SummerSlam, but it's looking very unlikely at this point. But yeah, lots of different content coming up as well. I've got a review of NXT TakeOver New York coming up. There's lots of different lists coming up on the channel as well. I've done the best match from every SummerSlam for the past 25 years has come up on the channel. There's a review of SummerSlam 2005 coming, as well as the regular predictions and review of SummerSlam 2025 as well. So do stick around for that in a couple of weeks. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.